Hey, what's up, Steeler Nation? This is Outside Steeler Fan, and you can just see the expression on my face. What a roller coaster ride of a game this was against the Los Angeles Chargers. But not that kind of roller coaster ride that we all experienced the previous 2 weeks, because I was expecting this game to be a roller coaster ride and a very high scoring game. And it sure enough was that. The Steelers, unfortunately, after a hard fight in the fourth quarter, they go down to the LA Chargers in a final score of 41-37. And where do you even start with this game? Let's just say for 3 quarters, it was pretty much dominated by the Los Angeles Chargers. Austin Eckler was just all over the place. Justin Herbert just all over the place. Just multiple touchdowns for each one of these players. They both obviously played a heck of a game. Eckler with 3 touchdowns. I lost track of all the scoring that Justin Herbert did, but obviously the Chargers took full advantage of our missing elements on defense, but that's not why we lost this game. We did a lot of bad stuff in this game, just too many points, too big of a deficit. And then when we did come back, there was just too much time on the clock. I mean, it was when we ended up finally taking the lead for the first time since, I believe, the first quarter with the Boswell field goal. There's well over 3 minutes left in the game. When we finally regained the lead and completed the 14-point comeback. But I'm not going to take from the fight in this team. This team makes me really proud, but it is a loss and you have to take it as a loss, regardless of the fight. And so many moments in this game in which we could have just packed it up. The Steelers, for the first time this season, score over 30 points. I predicted that going into this game. I had us winning 38-34, and then when we retook the lead for the first time since the first quarter to complete the 14-point comeback, we were up actually 37-34. And then unfortunately, after the Boswell field goal to take the lead, Justin Herbert was able to find Mike Williams in stride for the game-winning touchdown. And Norwood was beat by Williams, but just all around, I mean, you have to like the fight in our defense, but we were missing a lot of key players on the defensive side of the ball, and TJ Watt, Joe Hayden, and Minkah Fitzpatrick, but that doesn't excuse the poor tackling, especially the not being able to bring guys down after catches. Fundamental stuff. A lot of breakdowns on the defensive line, a lot of breakdowns in the secondary. Yes, Justin Herbert is a very mobile quarterback. He's a very complicated quarterback to stop. But man, the guy looked like Michael Vick in so many moments in this game. So the film is going to be nasty on the defensive side of the ball. I like the fight in this team, but this is the game we really needed to win. Only being a half game down on the Baltimore Ravens. With this win, we would have stayed a half game down on the Baltimore Ravens, and now we are a full game behind the Baltimore Ravens in the division. All of the divisional teams won earlier today, and so it made this game that much more important, and we were the only AFC North team not to get a W this week. So it hurt right there. It hurt that it was a conference loss, but there's still plenty of football to play. But the problem is this team has recurring issues, regardless who's starting, regardless if we have TJ Watt, regardless if we have Minka Fitzpatrick or Joe Hayden or Ben Roethlisberger, who returned, fortunately, from COVID protocol. This team has recurring issues on both sides of the ball. And these issues are going to have to be cleaned up, or this team is not going to the playoffs this year. Or so happen we make the playoffs, get like, let's say, a 7th seed, we're going to be one and done easily. There's a lot of stuff this team is going to have to clean up. And if we don't clean this stuff up, I mean, this season's over with. There's no way this team is going to go that far this year or go to the playoffs at all this year. We do not stop these. We still haven't played a full 60-minute game. I think the closest to that was, 3 weeks back? What was it, 3 weeks ago? Against the Cleveland Browns. That was the last time this team, but the closest this team came to playing a 60-minute football game. So it's like, that's one thing. We're going to need some games in which we play 60 minutes. We play a full game. We play a solid game in all 3 phases. We have not done that yet. Most of our wins, we've won. We barely pulled them off at the end. And though, a lot, I'll say most of these games that we won should have never even been close. We had a great lead, just like the Chargers tonight. They weren't able, we've been having the same issues with previous opponents closing them out in the second half. Well, I mean, hopefully, we can be a better second half team. We showed that in this game that we can become a better second half team. And, like I said, it was recurring issues with the defense, specifically the secondary. The game-winning touchdown to Mike Williams, a huge breakdown on defense in the secondary. You just can't have that, man. You can't have that. A really good football team is going to either get a turnover or force a 3 and out and then put the game away on offense. You have to be clutch in those situations. You cannot have those breakdowns in those situations. Another example is the 2 sacks we gave up on the last possession of the game. You can't allow 2 consecutive sacks too, just clean, allowing the defender to get to Roethlisberger clean. You can't have that. You can't have those breakdowns in clutch situations. You just can't have those and expect to win a 50-50 game, because that's exactly what that game turned into. It turned into a 50-50 game. And those are the 2 things I look at right there. Just on both sides of the ball at the end, the breakdown in coverage on the Mike Williams touchdown to win the game for the Chargers, and then the 2 consecutive sacks that we gave up on a final drive. You just cannot allow that at the end, especially when you have all the momentum back on your side. You can't give it up like that. So that's the thing I have a problem with, is this team, holding on to momentum. This team has struggled. You look at the Chicago game, you look at the Detroit game, this team, you look at the Seattle game, with Alex Collins, giving up those two, we gave up 2 touchdowns after going up 14-0 and just letting the Seahawks run the ball all over us, coming out the gate in the second half. That, just giving up the momentum like that, giving up the momentum at random moments. So, that's the issue I have with this team. You just don't know what to expect. The consistency we lack, there's so much, but, you got to take your hat off to a lot of players. Big Ben really never seemed rusty in this game. Yeah, there were some throws that were off target. There were some throws that he nearly threw interceptions, but I mean, for the most part, I thought Ben was pretty clutch in this game, man. When he really needed to get a huge third down conversion, he was able to get a huge third down conversion. Ben left this game with, I believe, 3 touchdowns. He threw for 273 yards. Nothing, no crazy stats, but Ben delivered when his number was called in this game. And at the end, you can't blame it on Big Ben. That was just a breakdown in the offensive line. They're going to have to play better, man, and they're going to need we need Banner back. We definitely need Banner on that O line, man. We need all the help we can get on that O line because I mean that was just atrocious at the end. Yes, it's a young O line, but ever since the Chicago Bears game, this O-line has really been declining. It's been going back to its old ways early in the season, and they're going to need some support. We're going to have to do something with that O-line, whether moving guys around, plugging guys in, plugging guys out, or just getting some guys back to help out. Or I don't know, man, even going to free agency, I don't know, but things are going to have to change with that O-line if we're going to have any kind of run this season or even get to the playoffs. But Big Ben, he delivered when his number was called. I can't say enough about Big Ben in this game. I think coming back from COVID, he was fabulous, man. He was not rusty at all at any moment in this game. He looked like, in glimpses, there was glimpses of his old self in this game, but Ben he's just clutch when he needs to be clutch. I thought Deontay Johnson was pretty big in this game. He didn't put up big numbers, but I loved I loved his lone touchdown in this game, corner of the end zone. It reminded me of the touchdown that he had against the Buffalo Bills in Week 1, but just a great catch in the corner of the end zone. And he had some other clutch catches in this game. He played decent. I think the offense played good enough to win this game, but it's just we gave up too many points on the defensive side and gave up too many yards. Just could not get off the field to save our life for the first 3 quarters. I mean, that's what did us in the long run. I would say I remember when we were on the goal line earlier in the game. I believe it was the first quarter. We were on the goal line. I didn't agree with going for it on 4th down, and the fact that, especially the play we ran on 4th down, I think we should have just taken the 3 points right there. And then later on, we ended up kicking the field goal it was second half, ended up kicking the field goal with Boswell, and on that 4th down situation, we should have went for it. So I kind of thought that came back to bite us in the ass, not taking the 3 points when because we would have cut the lead to 7-6. We would cut the lead to 1. Take the points too early in the game, and you're on the road. We should have taken the points when they were provided to us. Yes, it sucks not scoring a touchdown on the goal line. Anytime, anywhere in the red zone, you want to turn that trip into 7 points. But we should have taken the 3 points in that situation. Be in the situation in the game, take the 3 points. I don't know. I think maybe that could have prevented this game from being a blowout. I don't know. I guess it didn't hurt us in the long run. We were able to not only tie the game back up, but reclaim the lead on the Boswell field goal. So I guess that didn't come back to hurt us. But just the inconsistency, the breakdowns in coverage on the defensive side, and then the breakdowns when it comes to protecting the quarterback on the offensive line. A lot of times in clutch moments in the game, we have to get better. We have to get better when it comes to situational football. I think that's the issue with this team. We make too many mistakes, too many breakdowns when we have to be clutch. And you're not going to win the 50-50 games when you're not clutch in those key situations or pivotal moments in the game. We weren't at the end, and that did us in. But I thought also you can't, man. Take my hat off to Mike Killebrew on that block punt. That's what turned things around right there. He's able to he was able to block the punt and get us right there on the goal line. And great job by Mike Killebrew, our safety. Man, I like this guy a lot, and hopefully he eventually becomes one of the main players in our secondary. But great job right there, taking advantage of his opportunities on special teams. I mean, that really that's what got us back in the game. It swung the momentum back our way, and it set up a touchdown, even though we should have scored a touchdown on the original set of downs we had. Thankfully, we ended up getting on fourth down. There was a passing interference on Chase Claypool that gave us a fresh set of downs, and Najee Harris was able to take it in for a touchdown, his only touchdown in the game. Najee just being Najee, no crazy numbers, but I mean, like I said, the O-line is just really not allowing Najee Harris to be the running back that we know he is. Obviously during his time at Alabama, but it was an up and down game, very crazy game. But I'm not giving up on this team. It's a tough loss for the situation that we're in right now in our division. The Steelers are now 5-4-1. The game last week against the Detroit Lions felt like a loss, even though it was a tie. But we just have to move on, man. We have some really more tough games coming up this year. We have 2 consecutive divisional games coming up, one of those being the Cincinnati Bengals this week on Sunday. I'm happy that's going to be an early game again. I'm getting tired of these night games. But yeah, we have the Cincinnati Bengals coming up, and we got to turn things around, man. We have to make the necessary adjustments within this week. Hopefully this momentum that we had in the fourth quarter, or this solid play that we had in the fourth quarter till the end, that is, hopefully this can carry on. This can transpire or carry on into the Cincinnati game. And man, can we finally get a blowout or just a convincing win for eventually this season? We finally got our 30+ point game. Can we finally get our first blowout? Or because the closest we had to not a blowout, but a full performance was against the Cleveland Browns. Hopefully this momentum that we had in the fourth quarter, hopefully this can motivate this team, and this momentum can carry into that game against the Cincinnati Bengals. But that's another story for another day. I'm actually going to try to upload another video tomorrow to go over the specific stats, because I know I left a lot of stuff out in this video. But I mean, I'm proud of my Steelers. They fought hard in this game, but it wasn't enough. It's a tough loss. I mean, if this wasn't our 4th loss of the season, if it wasn't for the tie that felt like a loss last week against the Detroit Lions, I think I could swallow this loss, this defeat. But this is a tough one to swallow, man. It really is tough right now, but there's still a lot of more football to play, and hopefully we can get things right and stack enough wins up this season to get into the playoffs. And hopefully now is the time that we have got to start playing playoff brand football. We have to begin peaking now. We have to. But the issues we're having on both sides of the ball with the secondary and the offensive line, regardless of who's starting and who's not starting, this is, we have to clean this stuff up. We have to make these improvements, and we have to do it in a very short span of time. I'm going to continue to root on my black and gold. And I feel your pain, Steeler Nation. Anyways, I will try to follow up tomorrow or Tuesday on specific stats in this game, because I know I left a lot of stuff out, but I had to, still upload my post game video and let out my emotions. I'm not really deflated. It's just I wish we would have completed the comeback. I would be so stoked right now. But anyway, Steeler Nation, y'all have a good week and have a happy Thanksgiving. And hopefully we can bounce back next week against the Cincinnati Bengals, because we have to. We have to. Anyway, Steeler Nation, y'all have a great night and a good week.